disinfect.
It's Snowboard Review TV. I'm here with Peter Bauer, who is the co-founder and kind of head of the snowboard wing at Amplid. We're at Spitzensee. We've done a load of testing today. Right, so the first board that I took out today, which is kind of like I guess it's the staple board of the Amplid range. It's been around for a while, and it's got itself a bit of a reputation as a class board, is the Paradigma. Now, I'll leave Peter to tell you about the changes this season, but it's a little bit different to the previous seasons, but I can tell you it's equally as good as well. So, Paradigma.
So here's the Paradigma. It's definitely a directional board. Still same width in the nose and the tail, but the nose is definitely longer than the tail. For me, the Paradigma is the quiver killer. So if you really want to spend the rest of your life with only one board, that's going to be probably the one. It's really a Swiss Army knife, which can do everything from park riding, rails, boxes, straight jumps, but also pipe or all-terrain freestyle, powder. In comparison to last year, we took out the camber. This has a flatliner this year. It's not rockered, it's not cambered, it's really all the way straight. We believe that this is the best out of the two worlds because it gives you enough flotation with a straight nose in powder and really a surfy feeling in the tail, but also it has enough pop both in tail and nose depending on how you want to get off the jump. Then it has more pop than a rockered board. And again, this is the Swiss Army knife in our collection.
So yeah, so as I was saying, this is the first board that I took out today, and immediately I fell in love with it. I was saying to Peter, I've got to get hold of one of these next year. Now I was expecting it to be really quite stiff, but I'd probably put it more like the kind of 5, 6 out of 10 on the stiffness, probably a good 5. It's kind of firm and supportive where you want it to be, like it carves like a razor blade, but at the same time, it felt really playful, and I kind of popping into switch, super stable, buttering around. I mean, as Peter said, it's the quiver killer. I'd be happy taking this in the pipe, taking it in the park, and then taking it down some pretty steep off-piste runs as well. So, absolutely chatter-free, fast as anything, and yeah, just the ultimate board if you're looking for one board to do everything. This is the Dopamine, which is Amplid's go-to board for the park shredder. If you're into rails, you're into jumps, and if you're into really kind of like a versatile park board that you can take charging as well, then this is definitely the board. Now, one of the things I really like about the Dopamine is that the flex comes from between the bindings, so you can get all your press on and that kind of stuff, but when you're kind of buttering about, you haven't got a noodle on either end of your foot, so it doesn't feel like you're unstable. You can properly charge on this board. So Peter, so tell us a bit about the Dopamine and its construction and the graphic as well. I mean, that's properly standout.
Yeah, let's start with cosmetics. It's got a really blunt, kinky nose, which the freestylers, the young kids really like. It's got like 70s kind of Southern California horror graphics, which are really standing out. As far as the construction is concerned, it's built in a WDT polywood construction. WDT stands for Wood Derivative Technology. We pretty much use the debris, the wood crumbles, which remain, the leftovers from grinding the other cores, and put those back together to make the core for the Dopamine.
And is that what makes it feel quite so damp when you're riding? Like, is that something that the core contributes to?
The core is really dampening and absorbing all kinds of vibrations, but it's not dead, because it's very easy to make a damp core, but then the board feels dead. The board feels still very lively, it's super stable, but has a lot of snap and pop, and it's our most sold board, and I think the sales success also proves that people are very satisfied with that. Well, first of all, it's a traditional camber, and as far as pop is concerned, there's nothing which can replace the camber. Camber still has the best pop. It's a fact. It's a fact.
It's a fact.
And it's a true twin. It's also built with Hexa 2 technology. which is a honeycomb.
So that's what we can see here. So if you're looking
nose.
really closely, you can see there's a little insert here. Well, not little, it's fairly substantial.
But also here between the bindings, which makes the board super light, but we don't use aluminum honeycomb like lots of our competitors. We use...
I'm thinking of one competitor.
We do use cellulose honeycomb made out of recycled paper, which has a similar damp yet lively feel like wood, but it's just a lot lighter.
And I'm guessing it costs you a fair bit more to produce a board with this technology.
Obviously this board is above 600 euro,
Right.
and this is more expensive than the dopamine, but it has sintered base, it has the Hexo 2 technology for the high performance rider. I think it's worth it.
This is Peter's favourite board. It's got itself a bit of a reputation as a bit of a bad boy. This is the Unweight, which is based on the same mould, I'm told, as the Paradigma, so it's the same geometric, same cycle, except this year the Unweight remains cambered, and it's obviously got all the, I can see the Hexo 2 technology, the honeycomb in there as well.
It's got the honeycomb in there, but it also has some carbon, we call them V-pop stringers, as you can see.
So that's
here.
what I can see running down to the binding there.
From the back binding towards the tail and from the front binding towards the nose, we have those carbon stringer bands in there, which obviously enforce the torsional stiffness, and also those V-pop stringers make sure that all the energy you put into your bindings and onto the board end up on the snow. So it's very lively, very poppy, and for pipe riding, for big kickers, but also just cruising on a corduroy day is the weapon. It's the Ferrari.
So we've actually got some footage of this, so I'm definitely going to sneak this into the edit somewhere. But yeah, we've got Peter doing some of his legendary Euro carving and a little bit of squishing in a suitcase as well. I can't remember if it's on this board.
Also the weight, it's got 2.3 kilo or so depending on the length, and it's just super light. When you're sitting on the chairlift, you sometimes feel afraid you might have just lost your board.